Hello everyone, artist Charles Wolf here, back again for another painting lesson. Today we will be working on a little landscape painting that I created the other day. This painting is based on a photograph that I took when myself and a fellow artist went to a little town near Raleigh called Apex. There's a little park there that has a beautiful parkway, and it is that parkway that I will be creating today. Now the day I went was very cloudy, overcast, and very dreary, and I want to sort of give the impression of that with the color choices that I make in this piece. I'm going to start out today with a mixture of Cobalt Blue, some Umber, and some white. And we'll put a touch of the black in there as well. You can see that I've begun by first sketching out the scene, as I often do. When I'm ever sketching out something, I first put in the horizon line, that's the middle line near the bottom, about 2/3 down. I then will draw in where the path goes, and then lay in where the biggest trees are nearest me. Loosely sketch where the skyline is, where the clouds are going to meet the tops of the trees. Now because a lot of the sky is showing through these trees, and it's a very dreary day, the trees are almost blending in to the sky behind it. To give that effect and give that kind of rainy, dreary effect like it was, I'm going to first put in the sky, the blue, all the way down, and then layer over the very lightly colored, similar color, green leaves. But first we gotta put the sky in. I've gone very blue here, and I'm gonna gradually add more white as we go along to lighten this up and turn it more into a light bluish gray. Being careful not to cover up my branches and the trunks of these trees. We'll put more branches over top later on, much later on. But for now, we're going to be careful and preserve wherever I have the marks. I always sketch with pencil. Helps me put everything into perspective, figure out where things are happening, and then I can go back at a later time and make adjustments, change some of the pencil marks if I need to, that sort of thing. Being very loose with the brush here, just sort of scrubbing it quickly with my filbert brush. I'm painting today on a 9x12" canvas board. Great for practicing. These thin little boards can be even put into a normal picture frame. You can find the right size. 8x10 is sold, so you can buy some 8x10 canvas boards for very cheap, comparable to buying a full-size canvas, and you can get a whole pack of them and practice on them. I highly recommend it if you're just starting to paint along, starting your painting process and getting into the hobby. I recommend these canvas boards. It's a great way to practice. For this study, this is going to become a larger painting. In fact, I've actually already created the larger painting. I took more time with it and actually gave it to my parents for Christmas, just passed. And so I'm showing you the study that I did a couple days before I did the larger piece, and that's what we're doing today, is the study actually. The final piece had some changes that I made based on what I learned from doing this one, but both turned out very nice, and I was happy to share this piece with you all today. I want to give a shout out and a big thank you to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for joining the channel and following me. I have new paintings each and every week, new painting lesson videos, time-lapse tutorials, things like that. I try to get about 2 brand new paintings every month, 2 to 3 new paintings a month usually. Taking my pencil here and just marking in the back tree line, putting things into perspective, figuring out where tops of those trees are going to be going in the far, far distance. That blue-gray mix, very strong here. Larger painting, I actually backed it off a bit, made it a little more gray, but today I'm feeling like being somewhat impressionistic and pushing things a bit, and we will be using blue forward mixture. If you want it to be more gray forward, use less blue and add some more black. Okay, let's do some light pale green mix. We'll be using a lot of this mix. It's Cadmium Yellow, Umber, Blue, and White. Again, that's Cadmium Yellow, Umber Blue, and White. We'll mix all those colors together. The umber adds an earthiness and kind of grounds the color. The white will lighten it up. And of course, blue and yellow makes green. The paleness will come from the white. And like I said, we need to match sort of the background color. It's a very similar color. It's just more green than gray, but it should be of a similar tint. This is a very pastel muted palette that I'll be using today, mixing in a lot of white. You can leave it more bold if you would like higher contrast, using lots of colors, the full range of yellows, oranges, greens, and blues. These background trees should just be almost disappearing into the mist and into the low-hanging clouds. I was glad my artist friend invited me to come painting with him. It was a lot of fun. His name, by the way, is Adam Brakey. He does have a YouTube channel. It's a little older. He hasn't been on it as much lately. Started a new job, and that's been taking a lot of time. He does still paint professionally. He's very good. Check him out. Again, his name is Adam Brakey. And he and I were there together. He was doing watercolors and painting. There's a little pond near here that he was painting off on the right. And I was looking at the path and working on that simultaneously. It was a lot of fun. Great to connect with another artist who's working in my area near Raleigh and to have some camaraderie, not feel so isolated. As an artist, you do a lot of stuff by yourself. So getting to see someone else working and painting and enjoying the process while you're also enjoying the process is great fun. So whenever I set up somewhere in the wild, if I'm doing plein air painting, on location painting, I'll often snap a few photos of the location before I start. That way I get the light as I first saw it and I have a reference. So if I don't finish something while I'm out there on location, I do have a photo of it that I can go back to and make some adjustments once I'm back in the studio. Here I'm painting this whole painting in the studio, of course, so I can record it and have good light. But for the most part, if you're on location, taking a photo is a great way of making sure that you can do some touch-ups later on at home. So more of that light pale green mix, bringing in more of the white here in this background layer. Again, a shout out to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Impulsive Artistry. Check out my Twitter, Art Impulsive, and you can check out my Etsy shop if you'd like to support the channel and buy a painting. Here's some more of the gray mix we're making here. Touch more of the blue in there, kind of an umber, white, blue mix. Blues are great in the background. They'll push the painting farther in the distance, where warm colors will come forward. My goal for this channel is to reach 2,000 subscribers. We're getting there, slowly but surely. If you could support me by sharing my videos on social media, tell your friends and family about it, show them my work. I greatly appreciate all of your support. Help me reach 2,000 subscribers. My next sort of checkmark goal for myself and for my channel is to reach that by this year, hopefully by mid-year. I will be doing another giveaway of one of my paintings at 2,000. Maybe I'll even give away 2 this time. It is 2,000 after all. And we will be doing that the moment we reach 2,000 subscribers. So help me reach that goal, unlock that giveaway by subscribing if you haven't already, and by sharing. That's the best thing you can do to help me grow this channel is word of mouth. Please do so. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much again for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so here is some umber and a little more of the blue, and I'm just sort of filling this in. This is a very layered painting. We're going to be putting in a lot of what I would consider details, sort of loose, impressionistic, but we are going to be putting in a lot of different colors, mixes. It's more of an advanced piece than I would normally give to a beginner. Here's some more of the blue umber mix, making that a little darker, a little more bold here in the front. We're going to cover that over, but first we're going to put that down. There's sort of an underpainting, and then there's an overlayer. The underpainting's a little bolder, a little more true to color, more blues, more yellows, more reds, more pure, and then we'll layer over brighter colors and more muted colors, and it all sort of blends together in an impressionistic way. Because it's acrylic paint will allow you to very easily layer over things and cover things up. Too blue, or it's too dark, or it doesn't look quite right, you can always let it dry and then cover it up. Acrylic paint dries very quickly, which is nice. You can help it along with a hairdryer if you don't like something, and just cover it up with some more paint. Not a big deal. Here's some dark green mix, yellow, umber, and blue. I'm adding umber to a lot of these mixes because it adds, like I said, that nice grounded earthiness, sort of a brown. It helps mute the colors a little bit, adds to the overall effect. This is a bush that's kind of coming behind these trees and coming down here into the midground to the foreground. Helps bridge the background to the midground to the foreground, curving off towards the end of the path. You want to make the path seem bigger, you can take the right hand edge of the path and extend it to the right and have it curve around more. Or I have more of a ridge line. If I had made it flatter by moving that right hand side of the path over about an inch, it would have seemed like you were on the path more. Don't feel like you have to copy this exactly. You can always make changes and change the colors. Don't have to be exact, make it look exactly like mine. In fact, don't do that. Have some fun, explore, and enjoy the process of painting, and make it your own. Painting should be fun, easy, low pressure, low stakes. I never worry about each painting being perfect. You can't make it perfect. Nothing's perfect in life. You just try to get your average as high as possible. So remember that. Just have some fun with it. Don't worry so much if it doesn't look exactly how you want it. Some more of that mid-tone green here in the background, layering over that blue. The blue helps kind of ground the color, makes it a little bit darker, and the green helps to lighten it up and provide some more interest and contrast. Gonna make some mauve here, cadmium red, umber, and white. Nice muted red. Haven't used this color very much on this channel, to be honest, so it'll be nice for this piece. There are just a few leaves still hanging on right here, the very, very beginning of winter when I took this photo. So we're gonna have some of these leaves happening in the background and these muted reds. Like I said, it was a very dreary day. Using these muted colors hopefully will translate that well. I am being artistic here and being free with the colors. I'm pushing things more muted or more dramatic than maybe they looked on the actual day. But that's sort of the fun of painting, is it doesn't have to be completely realistic to have a really beautiful finish. This is part one, by the way, of 2 parts for this piece. It's just a lot to cover. We have a lot of painting to do. Gotta fill in the background, and you gotta bring in the foreground, the trees, all the branches, the leaves, a lot to do. Here is a muted orange mix, yellow, red, umber, and white. Sort of take that mauve and add yellow to it, and that makes orange. Nice zing and contrast. I do end up changing the left-hand side and making it a little bit more washed out. It was a little bit too busy and I wanted the focus to stay on the right, so I decided to soften that left-hand side. Right there, that big white patch I've left there on the left at the top of the path, that's going to be a big pine tree, but we haven't put it in yet. We're just painting around it for now. We'll come back to it. Here's some white. Adding to my pale green mixture, where that yellow and blue, a little bit lighter, and just dance some of the pale green back here, just trying to soften the red a little bit. Got a little bit too intense. I needed to sit more into the background. It was blending too much with the foreground, and you couldn't tell what was what. If you couldn't tell where the bushes on the right were versus what was in the background. That's too blue. Add some more white to that. Soften it up. Sometimes you don't get it right the first try. You can let it dry and try again. One of the nice things about showing you in real time how I'm working this out is that there are mistakes in this painting. Like I said, I don't worry about mistakes. I just try to do my best. Keep your average as high as possible. I'm a professional musician as well. I play a number of instruments, primarily piano, and one of the things that I always focus on is the fact that when you're learning to play a piece of music, you're trying to make it as good as you can, trying to be as consistent as possible. And painting is very much like that. It's another skill-based thing, and when you're learning to paint, you're just trying to be as consistent as possible as you're developing your skills. Trying to consistently turn out nice-looking paintings, good paintings. Not great, not perfect, good. Green mix, yellow, a little bit of umber, some Mars black in there, touch of the blue and the black. Going to be using this green, kind of dark green, for some bushes that are on the left-hand side of this path. Just peeking into frame here. Never know it, but right on the other side of the bushes on my left is actually a little playground where there was kids swinging back and forth and laughing and running around while I was painting. Here's some white plus the green mix, and I just cut off the edge of frame where there was the wooden fence running along, and then behind that was all the playground equipment, bright plastic colors. Doesn't quite fit with the mood of the scene, so I cut it out. There was also a house right in the background that I have completely covered over. It's almost like I'm in the deep woods here. I'm really not. I'm actually in a very urban area, but no one knows. Bringing in some lighter green mix, kind of blobbing it on here. Very impressionistic. Some lighter highlights, and that brings the color forward and helps distinguish the foreground from the background. Liking how this painting is developing overall so far. Some more of the dark green mix plus some more blue added to it. Bit of yellow in there, of course, for the green mix. Green and blue, a little bit of black maybe. It darkens it up. And we'll put some more of the dark green. It was getting a little bit too light. It's more of a green, if I'm being true to the photograph. I almost like these trunks left white. I could have made them like birch trees, and that would have been interesting. Or left them like they are. It would have been very interesting. I decided to paint them brown, but these kind of silhouetted look is quite nice, I think. Something to think about in the future of trying to do a painting that's more of an impression like this with these white trunks that are left of the canvas showing through. It's kind of cool that way. I like it. Okay, here's some more of the mauve mix, a little bit darker with some more of the umber added there. This is going to be in the foreground here. There's a bank extending down from the path on the right hand side, cutting down a slight angle away to the pond on my right. We want to have this nice slope and some bright bolder colors of all the leaves kind of scattered across here, and I think that color really sits nicely. There's some scattered leaves over here on the left as well on this path. Okay, and back to the white mix. Adding a bit more of the white to that mauve, lightening it up a little bit as it is getting farther from me. I want it to be more muted, more desaturated with the white, filling it in around these tree trunks, the base of them. Using a small round brush for most of this. Grabbing my pencil here, I'm going to extend this path to the right a little bit more. Back to my light green mix with my round brush, and we're going to toss this into the foreground, not worrying too much about making it exact. We'll be blending this anyhow. Back to my mauve mix, more umber and the red, and we'll just toss that in as well. This is going to be quite blended, so just put it in layers and we'll start to smooth it out and bring it all together gradually. Add a bit of yellow to that as well, make it more of an orange, and we'll put that down here too. Very colorful, this painting. The Piedmont of North Carolina has a lot of clay in the earth, and so there's that reddish undertone, is the dirt actually. There are a lot of red leaves on the ground as well, adding to the effect. I'm not painting each individual leaf, that would take forever and doesn't really fit with my style here. I'm just putting in swaths of color, different amounts, different colors, different shades, and the whole thing should suggest to the eye scattering of leaves, hopefully, in a very loose, abstracted sort of way. Here's some more of the light green at the top here. Definitely want to give you that sense that the bank is falling away to your right. Here's some more of the mauve mix and the yellow. Touch more in the orange there. A little bit bolder, a little brighter. Nice color. Little more of the light green mix, some more yellow. If you like this piece, I'll be having it up on my Etsy shop later this week, and you can purchase it if you would like. And support me and my artwork, helps me buy canvases and paint, keep creating videos when someone buys one of my paintings. I greatly appreciate it. Bit of the blue here too, why not? Make it a little more green. Just filling in this bank as we go. Show the white there as well, just to blend it all together. More of my yellow, the umber, and the mauve mix to make a muted orange. just covering all the places where the white of the canvas is showing through. Here's some more white added to my light green mix and a touch of the black, just to gray it out. Nice green-gray color. Yeah, that looks good. Some shadows. Bring some of that over on the other side as well. Why not? Touch of the yellow. Just bring a little more heat to the foreground. Like I said, warm colors will come forward, cooler colors recede, and the contrast between them will help create the sense of depth. Back to my light green mix, and we'll lay that over the top of a lot of this reddish orange color. Red and green, of course, are complementary colors, they're opposites, and when you put them against each other, it makes the whole thing sort of shimmer. Mauve mix, plus some of the white. Adding a dash of the white here and there. If in hindsight might have left this off, I was trying to create the illusion and the effect of the backside of some of the leaves were really shimmering with piles of white. And you can see a lot of them on here. I think it turned out looking more like ice, if I'm being honest. Kind of a frosty morning, which is not a bad thing, but I was thinking like backs of leaves. I think I went a little too heavy-handed with it. If I had done little dabs, maybe it would have been more effective. Oh well. That's why we do studies. You try things, and you do a small painting first, and then when you do it on the big painting, you know not to do something. So, in hindsight, I would have not added that white layer that I just did, but live and learn, you know, not a problem. And it doesn't really hinder or hurt the overall appearance, but I wanted it to be a little bolder, and I think the bolder colors was working better for it overall. Here's some more of the dark green mix. We're going to bring that back in a little bit more. There's more of the green of the grass poking through here. It rains a lot here in North Carolina, so all year round, even in winter, we do have green grass going on. Here's some more of the orange mix, and the yellow plus the red, of course. Brighter, bolder. I want this orange to really pop back here in the distance. That's sort of the focal point. And what caught my attention when I was painting this, the contrast of that orange against the green pine we'll put in later, is going to look great. Yeah, that looks great. Really comes forward, which is nice. A little more of the umber to that. We'll just toss in a few more spots here. I get a little heavy-handed with this, and so that's why I decided to make it more muted. I didn't think it looked quite the way I wanted to. Too much. A little is good. A lot is too much. I'm just going to fix that right now by just dabbing off with paper towel. Take off the excess, and we'll just blend that back with a little bit of white. A touch of the blue, a touch of the light green. That's too blue. More white. All about balance. Put too much orange there, but we can fix it pretty easily. That's just about it. We'll be back with part 2 of this painting very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.